What's up, everybody? It's your boy Melvin here for another classic review, and today I'm going to talk about my thoughts on a classic holiday special, which it ranks among the good holiday specials like Rankin Bass's Rudolph, Frosty. It's A Charlie Brown Christmas. First aired on television on CBS on December 9th of 1965, and this is a holiday special which I think everybody has seen more than a whole lot, because come on, it's Charlie Brown, and it's the same thing like you've seen like It's the Great Pumpkin, and that's the one that started the Halloween trend of Halloween special. This one's the holiday special, which there's a lot of interesting facts I found out about this one. But before we begin, did you subscribe? Did you hit the bell? If so, I can't think of nothing, because you want to be a Charlie Brown? Well, just do a lonely walk to the frozen pond, enjoy your friends on the ice skating right there, and find the crappiest tree. In the end, you might get some happiness. Let's begin, shall we? So yeah, A Charlie Brown Christmas, which was based on the comic strip by Peanuts creator Charles M. Schulz. It was produced by Lee Mendelson and directed by Bill Melendez. The program made its debut in CBS, like I said, on 9th December 1965. In the special, which Charlie Brown finds himself depressed despite on the onset of the cheerful holiday season. Lucy suggests he directs the neighborhood Christmas play, but his efforts are ignored and mocked by his peers when he chooses a real but puny Christmas tree as a centerpiece. Wow. You actually choose the real tree, and they for a fake big one. No wonder they keep picking on Charlie Brown. You would see, like, I've heard of a special called Bon Voyage Charlie Brown and Don't Come Back. I think it was his sister who said that. Or Lucy, I don't know. After the comic strip debut in the 1950, Peanuts had become the phenomenon worldwide in the mid-60s. The special was commissioned and sponsored by none other than the Coca-Cola Company, and was ran over a period of several weeks and produced on a small budget in 6 months. Wow. In the casting the characters, the producers took an unconventional route, hiring child actors. The program's soundtrack was similar or unorthodox, featuring a jazz score by pianist Vince Guaraldi. It lacked of a laugh track, a staple in U.S. television animation in this period. Like, you've seen like example, not just animation, including these TV shows like The Munsters, The Addams Family, Leave It to Beaver. Forget this other show, The Andy Griffin Show, with laugh tracks. Even Hanna-Barbera used laugh tracks, like The Flintstones, The Jetsons, even Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? They use laugh tracks. But the Peanuts here is different. Back on the same. In addition to its tones, pacing, music, animation led both of the credibly producers and network to predict the project will be a disaster. However, contrary to their collective apprehension, A Charlie Brown Christmas received high ratings and acclaim from critics. It received an Emmy and a Peabody Award, and has become an annual presentation in the U.S., airing on broadcast television during the Christmas season. Its success paved the way for a series of Peanuts television specials and films. Its jazz soundtrack achieved commercial success, selling 5 million copies in the U.S. A live theatrical version of A Charlie Brown Christmas has been staged. Really? I gotta see about that. Let's talk about the development here. By the early 60s, the creator, Charles M. Schulz, comic strip Peanuts had gained enormous popularity. Television producer Lee Mendelson acknowledged the strip's cultural impression and had an idea for a documentary on its success, phoning Schulz to propose an idea. Schulz, an avid baseball fan, recognized Mendoza from his documentary on ballplayer Willie Mays, A Man Named Mays, and invited him to his home in Sebastopol, California. To discuss the project. They're meeting with Cordell with the plan to produce a half-hour documentary set. Mendelsohn wanted to feature roughly 1 or 2 minutes of animation, and Schultz suggested animator Bill Melendez, with whom he collaborated some years before on a spot for the Ford Motor Company. Mendelsohn later stated that he was drawn to doing an animated Charlie Brown after working on A Man Named Mays, noting that Mays was arguably the best baseball player during that time, while Charlie Brown, in a running gag in the strips, was one of the worst, making him a natural follow-up subject to his project. Despite the popularity of the strip and acclaim for advertisers, Network were not interested in the special. By April of '65, Time featured the Peanuts gang on its magazine cover, perhaps prompting a call from John Allen of New York-based McCain Erickson agency. Mendelsohn imagined he would sell his documentary and blindly agreed to Allen's proposal, an animated half-hour Peanuts Christmas special. The Coca-Cola Company was looking for a special to sponsor during the holiday season. The bad news is that today is Wednesday, and they'll need an outline in Atlanta by Monday, Allen remarked to Mendelsohn. He quickly contacted Schultz, and the duo got to work with plans for a Peanuts Christmas special. Dude prepared on an outline for the Coca-Cola executives in less than 1 day, and Mendelsohn would later recall that the bulk of ideas came from Schultz, whose ideas flowed non-stop. According to Mendelsohn, their pitch to Coca-Cola consisted of winter scenes, a school play, a scene to be read from the Bible, a soundtrack combining jazz and traditional music. The outline do not change over the course of its production. As Allen was in Europe, the duo received no feedback on their pitch for several days. When Allen got in touch with them, he informed them that Coca wanted to buy the special, but also wanted it for an early December broadcast, giving the duo just 6 months to scramble a Garrett team to produce the special. Mendelsohn assured him, without complete confidence in his statements, that this will be no problem. Following this, a Charlie Brown Christmas entered production. Which, wow. You'll have like 6 months to make this special for December. And this is like 1965. It ain't digital. This is hand painted. You know those painted cells, you know? This is before, and they still do painted cells. It's not like the quick process. And it still has a good charm back in those days. But production is not always better without the writing. Am I right? Schultz's main goal for a Peanuts-based Christmas special was focused on the true meaning of Christmas. He decided to juxtapose this theme by interspersed shots of snow and ice skating, perhaps inspired by his own childhood growing up in St. Paul, Minnesota. He also created the idea for a school play, mixing jazz with traditional Christmas carols. Schultz was a man about Linus reading of the Bible, despite Mendelsohn and Melendez concerns that religion was a controversial topic. Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, oh boy. You see what happened to DC Comics? Yeah. Religious fanatics started book burnings. And that's the stupidest thing. Even calling Batman a pedophile at the time. That's kind of the biggest BS ever. I say they're the ones who have no fun. Back to topic. Melendez recalls Schultz turned to him and remarked, "If we don't do it, who will?" Schultz's estimation proved accurate. In the 1960s, fewer than 9% of television Christmas episodes contain a substantive reference to religion, according to university researcher Stephen Lind. Schultz's faith in the Bible stemmed from his Midwest background in religious and historical studies. As such, aspects of religion would be a topic of study throughout his life. According to a 2015 spiritual biography, Schultz's religion was personal and complex and will be integrated in a number of his programs. The program script has been described as bare bones and was completed in a few weeks. In the following days, the special sells to Coca-Cola, Mendoza, and animator Bill Melendez met with Schultz in his home to expand upon the ideas promised in the pitch. Mendelssohn remembered that on the previous Christmas Day, he and his spouse had read Hans Christian Andersen's The Fire Tree to their children. Schultz counted with the idea that it will be a tree with the spirit of lead character Charlie Brown. Mendoza suggested they employ a laugh track, a staple of television animation, but Schultz rejected the idea immediately. He felt strongly that the audience should not be instructed when to laugh. They spoke at length about creating an official theme that was neither jazz nor traditional to opening the program. Schultz wanted a part of the special to feature the character of Schroeder performing Beethoven, and Mendelsohn combined this with the inclusion of Vince Guaraldi's Linus and Lucy number. Schultz penned the script for A Charlie Brown Christmas with Melendez plotting out the animation via a storyboard. His storyboard contained 6 panels for each shot, spanning a combined of 80 or so pages. So, holy shit, 6 months? Damn. In the casting for the silent comic strip characters of Peanuts, the trio pulled from their personalities. Lead character Charlie Brown's voice was decided to be a downbeat and nondescript blah, as Mendelsohn observed, while Lucy be bold and forthright. Linus' voice was decided would be combine both sophistication and childlike innocence. Mendelsohn recognized that the character of Snoopy was the strip's most popular character, who seemed to seize the best jokes, but realized they could not cast a voice for a cartoon dog. In the process, we gained a veritable canine Harpo Marx. To those who are too young, Harpo Marx is one of the famed comedian brothers of the Marx Brothers. You got the main honcho, Groucho Marx, who's famous for his greased mustache, cigars, and crazy hairdo. Zeppo, who's like a Latino type. Harpo's the blonde curly who doesn't talk. He does, especially with a horn, like honk honk, like every time. There's a fourth named Groucho, Zeppo, Heppo or Beppo, I don't know. There's actually 4 of them, actually. Zeppo. And Chico. Chico's the one who looks like a Latino. Zeppo. Okay. That's the 4th brother. But okay, back to topic. Melendez suggested that he provides gibberish for Snoopy's mutterings and simply speed up the tape to prevent viewers from knowing. There are no adult characters in the strip, or in the later specials, what Drew's off-screen teacher. Her lines are inscrewed by the sound of a muted trombone, like wah 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 wah. Yeah, you ever heard that trombone? Wah 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 wah. As the team behind the special found it humorous, which because the child's point of view, the adults are boring. With this in mind, the trio set out to cast the characters, which proved to be a daunting process. Casting for Charlie Brown proved most difficult, as it required both good acting skills, but also the ability to appear nonchalant. Producers picked 8-year-old Peter Robbins, already known for his role spanning televisions, film, and advertisements. Robbins considered Charlie Brown to be one of his favorite characters, despite leaving acting as an adult. He considered his time in the role a highlight of his life. His godmother, Hollywood agent Hazel McMillan, discovered Christopher Shaw, who would later become Linus in the special. His slight lips, according to Mendelsohn, gave him a youthful sweetness, with his emotional script reading gave him power and authority as well. Tracy Stratford played the role of Lucy, with the creators being impressed by her attitude and professionalism. Kathy Steinberg was the youngest of the performers, just 6 years old at the time of recording, too young to read. Producers had to give her one line at a time to recite. Robbins remembered Melendez do this for him as well, joking that he also mistakenly copied his Latino accent. Imagine Charlie Brown with a Latino accent. That'd be weird, pretty funny. Mendelsohn desired to have non-actors, non-Hollywood kids perform on the special. He sent tape recorders home with his employees for the children's audition. Much of the background cast came from Mendelsohn's home neighborhood in Northern California. According to Robbins, the children viewed the script's sophisticated dialogue as edgy, finding several words and phrases, among them Eastern Syndicate, difficult to pronounce. He recalled the recording sessions as chaotic, with exciting children running rampant. Nevertheless, the recording of Charlie Brown Christmas was completed in one day. Jefferson Airplane was recorded next door and came over to obtain the children's autographs. Following the special broadcast, the children became widely popular in their respective elementary schools. Robinson recalled groups approaching him, asking him to recite lines of dialogue. Damn! I feel bad for the one who played Anakin in episode 1. Instead of asking for an autograph, it's bullying. Shit. As for the animation for A Charlie Brown Christmas, it was actually done by Bill Melendez Productions. Mendoza had no idea whether or not completing a half-hour worth of animation will be possible given the production 6-month schedule, but Melendez confirmed its feasibility. In actuality, animation was only completed in the final 4 months of production. Sorry about that. My cat just knocked the bottle. All the same, CBS initially wanted 4 hours worth of animation, but Melendez talked them down to a half-hour special. Believing an hour of television animation was too much. Having never worked on a half-hour special before, Melendez phoned Bill Hanna of Hanna-Barbera for advice, but Hanna declined to give any. Wow. I think they regret it now, didn't they? CBS gave a budget of $76,000 to produce the show and went $20,000 over budget. The first step in creating the animation was to make a pencil drawing. Afterwards, inking and painting the drawings on a cell. The cell then was placed on a painted background. There are 13,000 drawings in the special, with 12 frames per second to create the illusion of movement. Melendez had previously worked for Warner Brothers and Disney, and working on Peanuts-related material gave him a chance to animate truly flat cartoon designs. The movement of Schultz's characters, particularly the Peanuts gang, was limited. The character of Snoopy, however, proved the exception to the rule. He could do anything, move, dance. He's very easy to animate, Melendez quoted. But the most part was the music, which we all remember that. The soundtrack to the special is an unorthodox mix of traditional Christmas music and jazz. The jazz portion was created by Vince Guaraldi Trio. Producer Lee Mendelsohn, a fan of jazz, heard Guaraldi's crossover hit Cast Your Fate to the Wind on the radio not long after the completion of his documentary Charlie Brown and Charles Schulz, and contacted the musician to produce the music for the special. Guaraldi composed the music for the project, creating an entire piece, Linus and Lucy, to serve as the theme. When Coca-Cola commissioned A Charlie Brown Christmas in the spring of '65, Guaraldi returned to write the music. The first instrumental for the special was recorded by Guaraldi in Glendale, California's Whitney Studios with bassist Monty Budwig and drummer Colin Bailey. recycling Linus and Lucy from the early special. Wildly completed 2 new original for the special, Skating and Christmas Time is Here, which, if you've seen the opening of the special, this is the song you first hear. Christmas time is here. Na 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 na. Yeah, that choir. You see them, all the children skating on the ice. That is the song from the opening. That's when you first hear it. And when you're like, okay, here where I'm from, there's no snow here. But over in, like, I used to live with you. Imagine you're walking, like, you know, you're a college student there. You hear that song, right? You walk in to see the snow decorations. It gives you, like, emotion right there. Like, the holiday right there. The white snow. Damn. That'll be remarkable, isn't it? Okay, but back to the topic. In the weeks preceding to the premiere, Mendoza encountered trouble finding a lyricist for Wallardi's Sorrento trio, and penned "Christmas Time is Here" is about 15 minutes on the backside of an envelope. The special opening closed with a choir of children, cued by the St. Paul's Episcopal Church in San Rafael, California, performing "Christmas Time is Here" and "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." One of the singers, Candace Hackett Chivalry, went to become an elementary school teacher and sent a letter of gratitude to Schultz after he announced his retirement in 2000. In the letter, she recalls recording the choir at Fantasy Studios and going out for ice cream afterwards, while as saying she tells the story to her grade schoolers each holiday season. Damn. Imagine your kids, like, if you have a boring teen, she's one of the choirs who sang the iconic opening song to Charlie Brown Christmas. Damn. Give her applause to that. That's an awesome teacher, I tell you what. Like I was saying, but the recording session was conducted in late autumn 65 and were cut in 3 separate sessions over President of each session. The children were directed by Barry Mania, who demanded perfection from the choir. Mendoza and Guaraldi disagreed, desiring the kids to sound like kids, which, yeah. They use a slightly off-key version of Hark the Herald Angel Sings in a final cut. The children were paid $5 for their participation. In addition, the children recorded dialogue for the special final scene, in which the crowd of kids shouted, "Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown!" Yep, I remember that. The soundtrack for the special was recorded during the seasons, with decision regarding timing and phrasing determined quickly. Morality brought in bassist Fred Marshall and drummer Jerry Granelli to record the music, and spent time later re-recording earlier tracks, including covers of the Christmas song and Green Sleeves. The eventual LP release credited Guaraldi solely, neglecting to mention the other musicians. Guaraldi was notorious for never keeping records of his session players. Nearly three decades later, in an effort to resolve the matter, Fantasy surmise that the recordings with Budwig and Bailey were employed in the special, while Marshall and Granaldi recorded the album. Despite this, other individuals have come forward claiming to have recorded the special musics. Bassist Eugene Firth and Al Obedinsky, and drummer Paul Distel and Benny Barth. Phil and Distel are listed as performers on the studio session report Guaraldi filed for the American Federation of Musicians. It's All About Christmas was voted in the Grammy Hall of Fame back in 2007 and added to the Library of Congress National Recording Registry list of culturally, historically, or aesthetically important American-style recordings in 2012. I have always felt that the key elements that made the show was the music, said Mendoza back in 2010. It gave it a contemporary sound that appealed to all ages, Although Vince had never scored anything else, although I basically a documentary filmmaker at the time. We started to work together on the cues because we both love jazz and we both love play the piano. So he bring the material for each scene. We could go over it scene by scene most of the time. The music worked perfectly, but there were times we would either not use something or use it somewhere else. We went through this same process all 16 shows, although there are always some left over. Most of the time, what he wrote and performed, it went on there. Let's talk about the reception, because Charlie Brown, when the special was completed just 10 days shy of its national broadcast premiere, all involved believed the special would be a disaster. Melendez first saw the completed animation at the showing in the theater in the days before it premiered. Turning to his crew of animators, remarking, "My golly, we've killed it." Melendez was embarrassed, but one animator, Ed Levitt, was more positive regarding the special, telling him it was the best special he'll ever make. This show is going to run for 100 years. And I would agree. Mendelsohn was similar in his assumption of the show's quality when he showed the film to network executives in New York. Their opinion were also negative. Their complaints included the show's slow pace, the music not fitting, and the animation too simple. I really believe if it had been scheduled for the following week, there's no way they're going to broadcast that show. Mendelsohn later said executives had invited the television critic Richard Burgum of Time to view the special and debate as to whether showing it to him would be a good idea. His review, printed the following week, was positive, praising the special as unpretentious and writing that A Charlie Brown Christmas is one children's special this season bears repeating. Wow. The program premiered on CBS on December 9th, 1965 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, preempting the Munsters. It was viewed by 45% of those watching television that evening, with the numbers of homes watching the special estimated to 15 million, placing it at the number 2 in the ratings behind Bonanza on NBC. The special received critical acclaim. The Hollywood Reporter deemed the show delightful, novel, and amusing, while the Weekly Verity dubbed it fascinating and haunting. Why haunting? But Bob Williams of the New York Post praised the very neat transition from comic page to screen, while Lawrence Thornton of the Washington Post declared that natural-born loser Charlie Brown finally turned up a real winner last night. Harriet Von Horn of the New York World Telegram hailed the scene in which Linus recites scriptures committing. Linus' reading of the story of Nativity was quite simply the dramatic highlight of the season. Harry Harris of the Philadelphia Inquirer called this program a Yule classic, generating quite warmth and amusement. While Terence O'Flaherty of the San Francisco Chronicles wrote Charlie Brown was a gem of a television show, and Bill Gross of the New York Daily News praised the special's charm and good taste, while Rick Dubrow of United Press International predicted the Peanuts characters last night stacked up a claim to major television future. The film has an aggregated review of 85% based on 20 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Which, damn. The show's positive reviews were highlighted with an ad in trade magazines, One Thing Coca-Cola, CBS, United Feature Syndicate, and the show's viewers' fantasy released the special soundtrack the first week of December of 1965, coinciding with the special's air date. United Feature Syndicate pushed hard to promote the special, while Word Publishing issued a hardcover adapt of the special. CBS promptly ordered 4 additional Peanut specials. A Charlie Brown Christmas was awarded the Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program a year later in '66, making it the second animated TV program to win that award after Hanna-Barbera's The Huckleberry Hound Show. Charlie Brown is not used to winning, so we thank you, Schultz joked. This year in 2012, an internal poll of writers thoughtfully ranked the special at 62 in a list of the 100 greatest family-friendly films of all time. One of only 2 productions made specifically for television to make the list, the other being the 66th version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. In its summary, the writers noted the special's technical flaws are what makes Charlie Brown Christmas fate distinct and special rather than generic, and that's how low budget feel fit the theme of the story. And I would agree. And let's talk about the broadcasting, because CBS started the broadcasting back in from 65 until 2000, which the original broadcasting referenced the sponsor of Coca-Cola because Dolly Madison's eventually co-sponsorship of the series, as well as subscriptive FCC law mandating the separation of commercial material from actual programming material. Subsequent broadcasts and home media release removed all reference of Coca-Cola products. Broadcasts of the special was in later years also had some scenes, animation, including some effects being redone for corrections. Snoopy's dog bowl was repainted red instead of white. Lucy now makes a whirling noise when she's scared out of her psychiatric booth. New animation was placed in the scene where the children dance on stage after the first time to avoid repetition. Music was added in the background of the rehearsal scene. Snoopy no longer sings like a human in the final carol, among others. Removed from some subsequent broadcasts in a scene where Linus throws a snowball at tin cans using blankets. For several years, it was rumored that the can was a Coca-Cola can. However, a recently obtained copy of the original print disproved the rumor, showing that can was always generic tin can. Soon later, ABC began showing the special starting in 2001, and began December 6th, 2021, a half-hour documentary later titled The Making of a Charlie Brown Christmas, hosted by Whoopi Goldberg, aired on ABC. The documentary had been released as a special feature on the DVD and Blu-ray edition of the special. In the later years, it allowed the special an hour time slot to be broadcast uncut for time. The animated Vigilant collection, Charlie Brown's Christmas Tales, is broadcast in the remaining time for that hour. The show's 40th anniversary broadcast on December 6th of 2005 had the highest rating in its time slot. For the 50th anniversary broadcast back in November 30th in 2015, it featured a full 2-hour time slot that paddled by the special It's Your 50th Christmas, Charlie Brown, which was hosted by Christian Bell and featured musical performance by Christian Chenoweth, Matthew Morrison, Sarah McLachlan, Boyz II Men, Pentatonix, and David Benoit, and All American Boys Choir. It also included documentary features after 18 consecutive years of being broadcast on the special. The special aired on ABC for the last time on December 5th of 2019 at 7 p.m. Eastern and Pacific Standard Time. Later that, Apple TV, it was 2 years ago, acquired the airing, including including other special like It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, and A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which is available free on the platform during the free. After that, I think it was around from 2 years ago to now. It will be December 22nd, though, through December 25th. Subscribers to Apple TV had a broader window to watch specials, including PBS. which did the same thing. Excuse me. After mounting criticism over Apple's decision to remove the Peanuts special from free television, the company announced a deal with PBS to resume the annual broadcast tradition. In accordance with most PBS members' stations' non-commercial educational license, the special was presented on PBS without commercial interruption and was underwriting message from Apple being the only advertisement. PBS, Apple, and WildBrain, the right holders to the Peanuts television library, announced they have renewed the arrangement in October of 2021. However, the show will be available on Apple TV in 2022. As you know, the Charlie Brown Christmas has become a legacy in the stable of Christmas during the U.S., along with other future Peanut specials, combined with his theme, jazzy score, and simple animation. It also, according to author Charles Solomon, established the half-hour anime special as a television tradition inspiring other creations. Our specials like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which was aired a year later in '66, Frosty the Snowman in '69. Early anime specials, such as Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, ran a full hour. US Today summarized the program's appeal upon its 40th anniversary in 2005. Scholars of pop culture say that shining through the program's skeletal plot is the quirky and sophisticated genius and phenomenal popularity of Schultz's work, which, beyond his reference to religion, unheard of on television at the time, the special also marked the first time children voiced animated characters. Which, I will agree, the special influenced dozens of young aspiring artists and animators, many who went on to work within both comics and anime industries. Among them was Eric Goldberg of the film Pocahontas, Pete Docter of Monsters Inc. and Up, both Pixar, Andrew Stanton on Finding Nemo and WALL-E, Jeff Mallett of Fraz, Patrick McDonald, Mutts. The show score made equally pervasive impact on viewers who would later perform jazz. Among them was David Bowie and George Winston. More directly, the Linus speech near the end of the special was used in a Sidewalk Prophets Christmas song, What a Glorious Night. As you know, people, and those are my thoughts on the Charlie Brown Christmas meme. This was a long history about Charlie Brown Christmas because you feel like, oh, they made this, but you don't know what the history of the production they made, the animation, the script writing, the music. That's what it made a famous special. They thought it was going to blow, but nope. It ain't sunk. It became immortal and a staple of holiday specials for all time. And to this day, they're still showing it, and we all seen it. Those who've seen it, and the next generation will see it. It will always be a tradition that people will always watch Charlie Brown Christmas with their families. It might be either from the north, the south, east, or west, or any part of the world, in a different language. But when you hear the name Charlie Brown Christmas, you'll know what it's about. So yeah, those are my thoughts on a Charlie Brown Christmas. And if you have great memories of the show when if you own the DVD, VHS, Blu-ray on one of the anniversary ones, or if it was uploaded to YouTube at the time before it was, copyrights. Tell me what's your favorite scene, your favorite music. Hey, without that famous music score, it will be forgotten for a long time. But yeah, until then, folks, if you're new to the channel, remember to like the video, subscribe if you're new, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our great content, comment down below, And I'll see you next time. And happy holidays. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.